And we're back for an exciting part two of the Pocket and Ocho podcast. Pocket, are you ready for part two?
I am, but I do see something that I want to address really quickly, and we don't have to. There we go. That's it. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. During the intermission, I messed up my camera, I guess, but now I'm back.
Oh man,
I need to be seen on screen.
Yeah, you have one of those fancy webcams over there.
This is used for other things after dark. No. But...
I mean, you never invite me, so how would I know?
Our friendship doesn't go past the show, man.
I am back from my spaciness, and you are great with the intros. So, well, not necessarily intro. Do you want to debrief on our space case? Our very valuable space guest.
Yeah, we'll just talk again about what Phil Abrams brought to the table. He brought fascinating stories. He explained the world of, space rocket engineering. He made a point how even in rocket engineering, where you're dealing with some really bright people, communication and getting along with people is what's most important to having success in the field.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed like a really nice guy with a really, great dog.
Absolutely. Definitely Daisy was the highlight of the interview. And also, could you imagine jumping out of a plane once, let alone 615 separate times? Like, is there still a thrill? Like, next time we have him on the show, we really got to delve into, is there a thrill, a rush every time he jumps out of a plane?
Are you just doing it to do it anymore?
Right. What's it like owning a parachute? How many people do you know own a parachute? Yeah. Where do you keep your parachute? How often do you get it tested that it doesn't have holes? So many more questions for Phil Amerson if he's ever able to join us again.
Oh my God. Yep.
And I guess it's time to go from one amazing guest to another amazing guest.
Let's do it.
We're now going to bring in Ariel Gros-Werter, an MBA trained girl who's currently...
Wait, let's wait for her so she can be embarrassed.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry. I jumped the gun.
All right, we're going to catch her off guard. This is going to be great. She's on her way. So if she...
Here we go.
Okay.
For another launch. Buffering. And Ariel's with us. Welcome to the program, Ariel Gros-Werter. Ariel Gros-Werter is an MBA-trained girl who's studied at some of the finest institutions, who over the last few weeks has been working at Trader Joe's in the front lines during this coronavirus. She's currently on leave, but she was working at Trader Joe's. Welcome to the program, Ariel.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. How's everything going?
Things are going well. I don't know. Can anything be going well? Is there really an answer to that question?
Yeah, it was going well until you reminded me. Now I have to remember it all. It's coming back.
Are things sufficiently okay?
Well phrased. Things are most sufficiently okay. And yeah, we're doing a podcast and we have you as a guest. So at this point in time, things are sufficiently okay.
Okay.
Let's dive right in.
Sure. So, Pocket?
Oh, sure. I mean, the first question, which was, I really wanted to get you on I was going to say on the horn. Really want to get you on the line to just ask a couple questions about working at Trader Joe's during this pandemic starting. You don't have to delve into the first couple weeks because it was a long time ago, but what was it like? What was it like being there while all this chaos was going on?
So I should first premise by saying I work at the busiest Trader Joe's in the country. Woot woot. And so we are always busier than the average Trader Joe's. And when we talk to other Trader Joe's across the country, they're always impressed. And so our best sales long surpasses anyone else's, and it's always a joke of can we get close to it? And when the first case came out, when the first case was diagnosed in New York State, we surpassed our highest record by about 10%.
Everything was going off the shelves.
Yes. I had heard rumors of a long time ago when they had to bounce the doors because it was that busy. And it was kind of one of those that'll never happen. Maybe it would be so cool to see it. Multiple times that day.
Oh my God.
And then later that week, or no, that was March 1st, because we were supposed to also be charging for paper bags, and we were kind of we were not looking forward to having to explain to people that they'd have to pay for their paper bags that they were used to getting.
I love that now. When I went to Trader Joe's recently, they were like, yeah, don't use your own bags, right?
Yeah, because your bags might have something, and so therefore we'll just give you paper bags. We don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
A complete reversal in the last 2 months. For those who don't know, on March 1st, New York State set up a law that they're going to charge a few cents for a paper bag, and you were supposed to bring
5 cents.
New York State discontinued use of plastic bags for chain restaurants and for chain places, and then New York City was charging for paper bags.
Thank you for explaining exactly what was going on.
You live in LA. Don't try to explain my world.
Hey, we've been charging for paper bags for many years out here.
That's why I left.
Just for the money you're saving in paper bags, it's all worth it. All worth it till March 1st.
It's about sending a message.
Yes, down with the paper bag charge.
Yes, and that's why I have to leave here now.
Where are you going to go?
I don't. Well, I mean,
is that important? He just has to keep his consistency. Once you start charging for paper bags, Pocket leaves the jurisdiction.
I'm like debating in my head whether it's in poor taste to make the joke that I came up with Corona for this whole thing.
Yeah, it's kind of.
No, that's what I decided on.
So on March 1st, Trader Joe's employees probably thought that this paper bag was going to be the most annoying and aggravating thing they could get, and people were going to be complaining. And now they laugh at thinking that was going to be such a big deal, more or less.
Yes. And so that day was just insane. And I thought that it was also a Sunday. And Sunday is our busiest day, or Monday, one of those two. And I thought that that was going to be the craziest it would get. I found out that Thursday the 12th, I think it is, Trump had announced a travel ban. And then it got nutso and surpassed that previous new record by like 10%, 20. And so basically we were not prepared. No one was prepared. And
you were shattering records every day in terms of products sold.
No, only those days. We were just regularly at the height of our, but also there was almost only so much product in the warehouses, so we didn't have product to put on shelves for a while.
What was the weirdest thing that was out of stock?
Weirdest thing that was out of stock.
Or what is something notable that was out of stock?
I don't know, but I can tell you some of the things that were in stock. You'd have like a almost completely empty shelf, and then just the the full sodium chicken broth would be sitting there, and you're like, okay, that's the one nobody wants, even if
even if they're gonna die.
The matzah could sit on the shelves for a while. The few things nobody wanted at all, you could tell what product should be discontinued.
Yes, but it was different for every store across the country. Stores that sell gnocchi did not sell, and our store sells it well.
Gnocchi's delicious.
Demographic.
We'll take them as a sponsor, sure. But
sure.
So I have a question for you. During people going crazy and buying everything in sight, were the average customers nice to you? Working in New York City, you sometimes get some rude individuals towards the staff at grocery stores.
Yes. Once we became workers, people were very nice to us. I've heard stories of people buying an extra chocolate bar and forgetting it at the counter, and the person goes, "Oh, you forgot to grab it," and she goes, "No, it's for you." No,
that's sweet.
Yeah.
So did you notice a shift in people's opinion of grocery workers as things could continue to progress for the worse with coronavirus?
Yes, but I should caveat that I think people have always seen Trader Joe's employees differently than Walmart employees, because We talk to them. We are humans to them. Whereas someone at a big box store is just another drone who is ringing them up. So it was very easy for people to then link it to asking us how we're doing with everything. I imagine that at this point, everyone at any grocery store is given more respect, but we were always mostly seen as people in our own right, and that definitely showed when people would ask us how we were doing and how we were handling everything, etc.
Great. It's great that people learn to appreciate everybody around. There are so many people helping to make life a better situation, and people should take a minute to appreciate all those who help them out.
Yeah, for sure.
So in the early stages, like, does Trader Joe sell toilet paper? Does Trader Joe sell?
Yes, we sell.
They sold it for 30 seconds.
So, right, that was one of the first things that we ran through real quick. That and pasta and rice and frozen anything.
They're related. They're very related.
Right. And the hand sanitizer that we're not going to come back in stock.
Did you find it funny at this point, or were like, oh my God, like seeing firsthand, like there's not going to be any more toilet paper. The next time we get toilet paper in, I better buy like six rolls or something.
There were crew members who would just stash it in the back. There was something I was holding that I wasn't sure if we'd get more in, so I just stashed it in the sampling station because we're not doing demo anymore. And
Makes
then
sense.
it started there, but that's okay. There was definitely a limit put on how many you could take, and then we've started selling individual wrapped, but individual rolls of toilet paper instead of a stack of, what is it? 8, 12? I should know this.
It's okay. You're on leave.
This
We're not
is the
testing you
knowledge.
here.
Yeah, this is the knowledge that you don't need to know in your everyday life. So it's okay.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things that just, like, I now pick up a banana, or not. The bananas are the ones that everyone who's ever worked in grocery knows the code. But I'll pick up an orange and be like, oh, this must not be a navel orange because it's not code 4012.
Oh, really?
You sound like me at airplanes.
Yes.
I love how you become a human barcode scanner. Oh, man. Yeah.
No, know every single produce offhand, and that is, I only know like half a dozen.
The imported fruit. The fruit of the people. Do you know avocado since it's Cinco de Mayo? Limes?
Yes, it is 4225. Limes. But avocados are one of those.
Awesome.
Yeah. Ocho, do you remember scanners back in the day?
Scanners. I mean, I kind of use them for self-checkout, but...
No. Like the scanners.
The machines? Yeah.
The game machines.
Yes.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, it was a machine that, like, it was like a Game Boy type device, but it would, like, you'd take it and you'd scan barcodes, and it would auto-generate a monster based on what you scanned. And then you could, like, fight other monsters and, yeah, trade them and stuff. That's all.
How do I find that for my coworkers?
Oh, yeah, you really should. You might want to check eBay, as it's not sold anywhere right now.
Any listener of the Pocket and Ocho podcast who wants to help out the frontline Trader
That's
Joe
true.
workers, please help us find the game Scanners and make workers happy. This is what our podcast is all about.
This is what it's about. First we get the scanners, then we get the money.
So on like March 13th, March 15th, had Trader Joe shifted to all employees had to wear masks, or had that not yet taken place? No,
they were kind of slow on that. We've always had hand sanitizer at all of the registers.
Yeah.
And we started switching to only every other register. So we had the 6 foot distance, and we were allowed to wear gloves, but the CDC was still not recommending wearing masks, and so the company was frowning on it because it it takes away from the experience of shopping with a human.
Totally, it definitely depersonalizes the situation.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
once the CDC stopped unrecommending it, whatever.
Switch course.
Right. But for a while they were suggesting you should not.
Correct. Right.
And so I don't remember which came first, the CDC saying it was okay or just enough upswell of crew members that they're like, well, if you want to, we won't stop you. And then at a certain point, it was required.
Oh, around March 15th, which actually I was in New York on March 13th, and I flew straight out of there. I went to the airport and I'm like, get me on the next plane, and I left New York City. But anyway, we saw a shift starting. Were friends and family like telling you stop working? What are you doing working at Trader Joe's? This is crazy. You could be at the front lines of getting sick.
Yes. My dad wasn't a fan, and my mom suddenly became very much not a fan. And then we were coming up to the first 2 weeks of April, 2 or 3 weeks of April were supposed to be the worst, the pinnacle of it. So since I'm back with my parents and my mom still visits my soon-to-be 97-year-old grandma, if I get exposed, then my grandmother's exposed, and that is not a good recipe. So she asked me to stop going, and then when I suggested that those 3 weeks were up and I should go back, she basically said I can go back and be stuck in my room and never interact with her, or I could not go back and still have free reign of the 2-bedroom apartment. And part of me was thinking, not having to interact with my mom. But no, I haven't gone back. And actually, Trader Joe's, they were really committed for a while to not cutting people's hours because people depend on this. It is their livelihood. And it sounds like in the last week or two, they have started to cut hours. And so me being on a list of people who's taking what's called medical leave, not that I'm sick, but I'm on medical leave, means that they have fewer people competing for the limited hours.
Well, you could be sick. We don't know. Nothing is.
Thanks for that uplifting thought, Pocket. Thanks for making our guests feel at ease. This is why we bring guests on the program.
This is a feel-good show.
They may be sick and they just don't know it.
It's a feel-good show. Well, she could she could be one of those heroic people who are not showing any symptoms.
I also haven't seen anyone in a month. So it'd be really interesting if I was sick.
Yeah.
And now we're going to turn it into like the Maury Povich show where they test people to see if they're babies' daddies. We're going to bring out our special doctor to test Ariel Gros-Werter to see if she has antibodies for coronavirus.
Mr. Mendelsohn, come on out.
He's a doctor, Dr. Mendelsohn. He didn't go to Evil Medical School for 4 years to be called Mr.
Evil Medical School?
Please apologize to Dr. Mendelsohn, Pocket.
I apologize to... You can't make me do this. Also, I have an update.
Please share.
You can get scanners on eBay for like $60.
Wow. So we don't even need that much of a benefactor. We just need one listener of the Ocho or Pocket Show to make Trader Joe's employees' day. Come on. Well, somebody out there has $60 to
I'll be honest, because you might need 2, I think. I don't know if there are 2 on eBay, but I think you need 2 so you can like battle them. But to collect them, you only need 1. That is correct.
Truthfully, I should turn this into a sport, actually. This should be my next sport I event.
Oh my God, esports. You come to the League of Legends tournament and be like, yeah, this is the real esport. And they bring out 2 scanners.
If you can get 2, if you can like figure out a way to get the screen of the scanners to go onto Zoom, you get 2 people with scanners in a grocery store in their downtime, and you can just report on the game, the competition.
That's true.
That would be entertainment at its finest. See, we're coming up with new work for me too. This Pocket and Ocho podcast has everything.
Yeah, I mean, they're having trouble filming the last episode or 2 of The Blacklist for the season. And look at you, you're creating content. You're coming up with ideas.
And you don't even have to get on a plane for it.
Nope. It's right
I
here.
miss airplanes. That's why, sorry for the non-sequitur, but I actually purchased this week my very own used airplane seat, which hopefully I'll, for future episodes of the podcast, be sitting in. So
I'm
I
sorry.
can feel at home.
You bought an airplane seat?
What? Is it at least a semi-comfy one? Wait, what class is it?
It's not a first, it's a, no. This is just a common seat from the back of the plane.
Coach.
Does it come
You
complete?
go for a halfway decent seat?
It's a coach seat.
Does it come complete with the kid behind you kicking it every second?
I was hoping for that. There's no kid, there's no flight attendants, but I have my own seat so I could feel at home and eat out of a tray table and just go, we're in for a bumpy ride, everybody. Please make sure your tray table is in a locked and upright position.
But you need a seat in front of you then in order to have the tray table.
That's true. I'm going to have to start collecting my own collection of many seats. I will get a first class seat, and I'll have to decide if I upgraded myself to it. I'll be working, this will become my quarantine existence.
There you go.
I believe. But at least you have leg room.
Yeah.
Well done. Back to the Trader Joe's experience. So if you were to have like right now, obviously you're Ariel Gros-Werter is on leave from Trader Joe's, but when you were working, if you were to like have a cold or have allergies and call them up and say you were feeling slightly sick, they tell you to stay home immediately, right?
I presume. I've never come across that.
Fair enough.
But I presume, and actually once Corona hit, coronavirus, I realized at a certain point that we had Corona beer in the store, and it was hilarious.
Was that one of the last things on the shelf?
No, actually, apparently the company that does Corona beer is doing fairly well. Of course, they also have their beers, and alcohol in general is doing well.
Well, now I don't know what to believe. I've got to go to Google. Continue.
What was I going to say? What was your question?
I was asking about the health if Trader Joe's had established a stricter policy about employees showing up if they felt slightly ill.
Yes. So when this all started, and there was certainly a discussion among my fellow people in retail of if you get sick, if you're sick, then you're playing this game of if you need the money, you need to go to work, but you also don't want to be infecting anyone, but you're losing out by being safe.
Right.
And Trader Joe's said that we accrue paid time off, which realistically is like paid sick leave for when you need it, or a vacation free. And you've been accruing it, so you don't start off with very much to begin with. But that the captain of our ship, the store manager can approve extra paid leave so that if you get sick, you can easily get a week or two of paid to not show up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's a very generous and very understandable policy.
Yeah, I'm lucky that I'm working for a company that is certainly trying to do the right thing. It's hard to figure out what the best thing is, and it's also they're not making the money they normally are. Here's the MBA coming out. Because sales are way down at this point, and rent costs are still super high in New York. And
sales are way down?
Sales are way down right now.
Why?
Why? Because
like when I go to Trader Joe's, there's few people doing social distancing, really. I guess they have a limit of how many people they can allow inside, but there's a 2-hour wait around the corner.
But
this is the New York location we're talking about, the New York City
location. Right. Well, no other place exists.
So yes, they limit how many people can come into the store.
That would do it, I guess.
And they've shortened their hours. And I don't know, people are buying more than a typical shopping, but I guess not
I
as
guess the
much.
numbers just don't add up.
Right, in which case the people are still eating, so where are they getting their food from? Because they're, especially in New York, a lot of people used to eat out or order,
Right.
and so
So
they
they're
can't buy
eating more,
more than that.
technically. I mean, they might be eating more because there is a bunch of takeout.
Right, but more so than they normally do in the rest of the year? Or the
Yeah.
of spring?
Yeah, it's convenient. They don't necessarily want to cook.
In
True.
general, restaurants are not doing well. For again, every individual restaurant's gonna have a different taste, but in general, people have less disposable income right now, and eating out is considered a luxury. So
Right. So
less
that should
people are even doing takeout.
right. So then that should make Trader Joe's sales increase.
I know that some of the kit things like Blue Apron
Yeah.
are doing better.
Well,
I
yeah.
I wonder if people are just buying bulk off of Amazon, or
Yes.
they're doing a Costco run and buying all of that, and then
Maybe. Yeah, I don't
Yes.
know. And also, I saw that Blue Apron's doing very well, but I saw it was the stock for Blue Apron. I don't know.
Does
well, the
Trader
thing,
go on,
another
Ariel?
is that my location, we get a lot of students, a decent number of tourists, and we also, since we're right on the F train, we get a lot of people in Queens who work in my neighborhood, but there isn't a Trader Joe's near them, so convenient in Queens, so they'll just go shopping before going home. And if they're not going to work anymore, physically there or not at all, then they're not in the Chelsea area in order to pick things up and get on the F train to go back to Queens.
Huh.
Makes a lot of sense.
I imagine people are doing much more local shopping, even if they don't like their local grocery store as much.
Yes, nobody is jumping on a train to go shopping these days. Not a single person.
Yeah.
That'll do
I don't
it.
think anybody's jumping on a train, period, unless they have to, but that's a whole other conversation.
Seriously.
Yes,
Yeah.
love it. Did that Trader Joe's location do deliveries of food products?
So, so only New York City, it might have only been Manhattan, but certainly nowhere outside New York City has ever done delivery as a and New York City stopped doing it last year, ending March 1st.
Wow. That's interesting. March 1st. It seems to be a very important day in the supermarket business, or at least the Trader Joe's.
But like, if they did delivery, it would be perfect now. This would be the time to do delivery.
Well, no, now's the time to get a third party to start offering delivery.
Sure.
That they will do all the shopping and everything else and only charge you a markup of 100%.
Okay.
Trader Joe's merging with Uber Eats, not exactly, but
not exactly. Merging with TaskRabbit is more like it.
That would actually, you need something to do.
Oh my God, I've never thought about that. Is TaskRabbit still around? Or
yeah, I mean, I think so.
So some people may be risking their lives.
Well, yeah, sorry, I'm like I have to check, but I'll check later. We will update people later.
They definitely had advertisements in the subway 2 years ago.
There you go. There you go. Wow, we have been talking for a while, Ariel. Thanks. You brought us a lot of really good information. General supermarket question, grocery store. Do you have an employee? Is there an employee discount at Trader Joe's in general?
There.
Did I cut out? She said there is.
There is.
Okay.
If you go food shopping with me, I can extend the discount while we're there together. If you're on your own, too bad.
We will, if I haven't taken you up on that, which I probably have, I definitely will in the future. So I just want to update before we go, and then you can say closing words. My update is that Corona sales are up 20%. Who knew?
Ariel brings information. Don't doubt the grocery store employee / MBA. She is on top of the industry.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you don't realize you know until you get questions about it, and you're like, holy crap, like a barcode of avocados. Actually, I've been around for a while. That was the one I knew second.
So I just want to see if you have any closing thoughts, because we got to wrap this up. Closing thoughts and the barcode for avocados.
Avocado is 4225.
Okay.
Garlic is.
I love how you've taken your closing thoughts and made it barcodes.
Damn it, I don't know it. I was learning that one, and then I stopped needing it.
Don't make me tell Kelsey.
It's like me and airport codes. I used to know like every airport code, but I'm not flying any longer. They're not so important. You know, like it's like I thought I knew that, but no, the last month it's not so relevant to my life. But seriously.
The best thing is when I've gone to local supermarkets. And first off, if I say I work at Trader Joe's, they immediately are nicer to me because I am one of them. And I have in the past. I don't even think I mentioned that I worked at Trader Joe's. She's like trying to figure out if there was a barcode for a banana. And I was like, oh, it's 4011. And she just looked at me.
Do all Trader Joe's have the same barcode system throughout the United States? Do you have any clue?
Every produce of a specific type is the same across the country. So conventional or bananas are always 4011. Organic
in every
4011.
In every market, including Trader Joe's, like
every supermarket.
Crazy.
Wow,
yeah,
that is really interesting stuff. Once again, we have to thank Ariel Gros-Werter for joining us today. We took up a lot of her time, but she brought a lot of really good information, and it's good to know that she feels appreciated and that the grocery workers of America feel a little more appreciated now than they did a few months ago, because what they do really helps the rest of us out. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Ariel.
Thank you. Have a good one. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
Wow. So much good information from that interview.
No,
really
I mean,
interesting stuff.
We were only supposed to go for, what was it, like 20 minutes? And that,
yeah. Each one of our guests is so amazing. They're their own episode.
We're going to level with you. Like, I was spacing out. I think it was because, like, all the time we spent on one guest, we were supposed to budget the hour across 2 guests, but we learned a lot from these guys. So we spent a lot more time than that. As
we continue to do more interviews together, we'll maybe just, as much as these guests have like 3 or 4 different things to say, we'll start with just one topic and we'll bring them back to get a different topic in the future.
We'd love to. Yeah. I mean, there's both these people. I'd love to learn more about mechanical engineering, and skydiving. There's so many people I want to put in planes and throw out of them. So,
I mean, listen, I want them to fly without a parachute, but that's a whole other conversation.
Right.
I'm kidding. Have you ever thought about jumping out of a plane pocket?
I don't even know if I have a fear of heights anymore, but I growing up, I had a fear of heights. And it just sounds nonsensical to jump out of a plane to me. I don't know, something about the jumping out of a plane part. Like the fact that you're going into a plane to go out through the side door. Like some part of that to me feels weird.
That makes a lot of sense.
How about you?
I've been concerned about the loss of frequent flyer miles. Once I'm in the air, I want to get my full frequent flyer mile experience.
Right.
Nah, in all seriousness, I hadn't really thought, people say I'm a risk taker in life, and I might be.
Sure.
But stuff like that, where I don't feel in control, and if the parachute doesn't open,
Well, I mean, I'm sure that I'm sure it's calculated, because he wouldn't do it 600 times if it wasn't calculated.
Correct, and he's a very smart guy. And listening to him and thinking about this new world, I'm very tempted to finally do it. Just jump out of a plane. Let's,
Yeah, that's the issue about me. Like, I don't see a real reason to do it. It sounds stupid when you're like, I'm gonna put myself in danger, and then someone's like, "Hey, you want to go jump out of a plane?" And then my impulsiveness just pops out. It's like, sure, let's do it.
I've never done that. Let's try it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but the initial idea is, wait, I'm gonna jump out of a plane and I'm gonna pay $150.
Right.
To jump out of a plane?
That is also the thing. Yeah.
I know. I'm paying $150 to sit in a plane to enjoy my first class and drink my alcohol.
Borrow your friend's parachute. It'll be cheaper. It'll be like $10 at that point.
Can I borrow a parachute? I don't know. I don't know the laws, the parachuting laws. So many interesting topics to talk about with the world of skydiving.
Parachute laws. That's great. Yeah.
So as our time is winding down, anything you want to leave our listeners with today, Pocket?
I mean, we have the other 2 interviews. If you haven't checked them out, check them out. Well, yeah, we're going to be keeping on doing this. This has been fun. This is always great with you. And I guess I like learning, and we're going to see who we're going to learn from next week. This is great. Let's keep it going.
Absolutely. It's been a blast working with you. And I just want to say the David Deutscher interview is getting really good feedback. People have really enjoyed his book, his information on the pig and potato war. He really brought some interesting information. And as we talked about briefly at the end of last week, people who are friends with him were shocked to learn even more about him and learn just how interesting he is.
Yeah, I like that. I like that we're pulling out stories from people who we are acquainted with that we would never hear unless this was the place that we put them on.
So true, so true. And I think this is a lesson for everybody, even people who don't know us. Talk to your friends. Ask them what their hobbies are.
Yeah.
You may not know that, like, a lot of Phil Abramson's friends have no idea he's jumped out of a plane 650 times. People do things. People do stuff. And, you know, if you act uninterested, if you're like, oh, he's another boring person, she's another boring girl, you'll never find out that, no, most people are way more interesting than
Everyone has a story. Everyone has a story.
So true. And now we have the time to listen, and we're going to keep bringing you their stories on the Pocket and Ocho podcast.
Bring us home.
Absolutely. Once again, I'm Alan the Ocho Goldberg. He's Pocket Silverbits. It's been a pleasure having you all join us today. We're going to keep bringing you interesting stories, unique guests, stories you wouldn't hear anywhere else, and we're going to keep making you, the audience, a part of our stories, making you all feel comfortable, making you realize we're all in this together. Alan the Ocho Goldberg, signing off for Pocket Silverbits. Bye.